We are reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 29, verse 32. Talks between Nārada and King Prabhupāda. Dukesh Vekatare Napi.
Dukesh Vekatare Napi.
Daiva Bhutatma Hetushu.
Deva Bhutatma
Hetushu.
Jivasana Yavasheda.
Jivasyana Vyavachedya.
Yachetatatpatikriya.
Syachatatatpatikriya.
Dukesh Katare Napi.
Dukesh Vekatare Napi.
Daiva Bhutatma Hetushu.
Deva Bhutatma Hetushu.
Jivasyana Vyavacheda.
Jivasyana Vyavacheda.
Yakchitat tat pratikriya.
Dukeshu vetatārānyapi.
Dukeshu
Vetatārānyapi.
Deva bhūtātam hetushu.
Deva bhutatma hetushu.
Jivasyana vyavachchedaha.
Jivasya na vyavachhedaha.
Chachetat pratikriya.
Chachetat pratikriya. Dukheshva ekatarenapi.
Dukeshu ekatarenapi.
Deva bhutatma hetushu.
Deva bhutatma hetushu.
Jivasya na vyavachhedaha.
Jivasyana vyavachhedaha.
Chachetat pratikriya.
Chachetat pratikriya.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Dukeshu. In the matter of distress.
In the matter of distress.
Ekatarena. From one kind.
From one kind.
Api.
Even.
Daiva.
Providence. Bhuta. Other living entities.
Other
living entities.
Atma.
The
body and mind.
The body and mind.
Hetushu. On account of. Jivasya. Of the living entity. Never. Yavacheta.
Stopping.
Syat. Is possible. Chet. Although. Tat. Of those miseries. Pratikriya. Counteraction. Translation by Śrīla Prabhupāda. The living entities are trying to counteract different miserable conditions pertaining to providence of the living entities or the body and mind. Still, they must remain conditioned by the laws of nature despite all attempts to counter these laws. Prabhupada, just as a dog wanders here and there for a piece of bread or punishment, the living entity perpetually wanders about trying to be happy and planning in so many ways to counteract material misery. This is called This struggle for existence, we can actually see in our daily lives how we are forced to make plans to drive away miserable conditions. To get rid of one miserable condition, we have to put ourselves in another kind of miserable condition. A poor man suffers for want of money, but if he wants to become rich, he has to struggle in so many ways. Actually, that is not a valid counteracting process, but a snare of the elusive energy. If one does not endeavor to counteract the situation, but is satisfied with his position, knowing that he has obtained his position through past activities, he can instead engage his energy to develop Krishna consciousness. This is recommended in all Vedic scripture literature. Dasyābhita prayateta gavida nalabhyate yat bhavatam yapadyaha dalabhyate gavaranyata sukham kalena savatra kapiraram asam. Persons who are actually intelligent and philosophically inclined should endeavor only for that purposeful end which is not obtainable, even by wandering from the topmost planet Brahmaloka down to the lowest planet Patala. As far as happiness derived from sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be obtained automatically in course of time, just as in course of time we obtain miseries, even though we do not desire them. Bhagavatam 1.5.18. One should simply try to develop his Krishna consciousness and not waste his time trying to improve his material condition. Actually, the material condition cannot be improved. The process of improvement means accepting another miserable condition. However, if we endeavor to improve our Krishna consciousness, the distresses of material life will disappear without extraneous endeavor. Krishna therefore promises, "Kāntaya name bhakta panashatiyo," son of Kunti, declare it boldly, that my devotee never perishes. BG 9:31. One who takes to the path of devotional service will never be vanquished, despite all miseries of the body and mind, and despite all misery brought about by other living entities and providence, miseries which are beyond our control. Uttam karti vachalam kangalam pitesi, Kirtan Vande Shiguru Gunatane, Omagana Tivarandasya Gananja Shakaya, Chakshumiritam Yena Tatsamai Shiguru Namaha. So this verse in 4th canto talks about the threefold miseries. Now, we can find in Bhagavad Gita a verse also, and it starts the same. Dukesh starts with misery. And it talks about the threefold miseries. So let's hear that verse. This is 2 Bhagavad Gita 2:56. Dukesh vanapiknamana sukeshu vikatas viha vitaraga paya krodha sti tatir munir uchate. One who is not disturbed in mind, even amidst the threefold miseries, nor elated when there is happiness, who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called a sage of steady mind. So threefold miseries, we heard about them in this last verse. So what are the threefold miseries? That is Ādhidaivika. It said Daiva in that verse. Today's verse, Ādhidaivika, Ādhyātmika, body and mind. So it said Atma in today's verse, it's body and mind. And then the other one is other living entities. So let's see, jivas, yeah. I said jiva, other jivas. Give us trouble, our Atma gives us trouble, our body and mind. Atma can mean also soul, but body and mind can give trouble to the soul. If you think you're the body or mind, you're going to get trouble. Here it says in the purport that, the Krishna conscious people are not, they get the threefold miseries, but they are not affected by them, and Krishna takes them away automatically, just like you get happiness automatically. So I'm going to look in this purport of 2:56. This verse talks it's a little bit more, and not only not disturbed amidst the threefold miseries, or elated when there's happiness. So there's actually two things. You're disturbed when there's distress, and you're elated when there is happiness. So, yes. So, how does a devotee see distress? As Srila Prabhupada says here in this purport, he said, a fully Krishna conscious person is not at all disturbed by the onslaughts of the threefold miseries, for he accepts all miseries as the mercy of the Lord. Okay, instead of miseries, he sees mercy. I mean, it's kind of the same letters almost, misery and mercy. And you just have to change them around a bit. So then, and he sees, why does he see his mercy? Thinking himself only worthy of more trouble due to his past misdeeds. Yes, we deserve much more, but because we're surrendered to Krishna, Krishna removes the miseries and just gives us a token. So here, Prabhupada says he sees his miseries by the grace of the Lord are minimized to the lowest. So what happens when a non-devotee, when miseries come to a non-devotee, he says, God, why is this happening to me? I'm a good person. I do my job, I support my family. Why is it happening to me? Why me? So what happens when the devotee is happy? When he's happy, he gives credit to the Lord, thinking himself unworthy of the happiness. He realizes this is due only to the Lord's grace. He is in such comfortable condition and able to render better service to the Lord. So a devotee is happy. When he gets happiness, he sees, oh, thank you, Krishna. Even when he gets misery, he says, oh, thank you, Krishna. Now I will understand better attitude, how to approach you. What happens to the non-devotee when he gets happiness? Just see how expert I am. Just see how intelligent I am. Whoa, I'm so intelligent. I'm successful in life because of my hard work, because of my expertise, because of my leadership abilities. That's why I'm successful. That's the non-devotee's attitude. The devotee said, oh, thank you, Krishna. You're so kind. You've given me happiness so I can continue my Krishna consciousness. So yes, but sometimes we know this philosophy, but we see a gap between our knowledge. Yeah, I know I'm not the body, this, that, and our experience. It's hard to realize the philosophy sometimes. And just like one devotee was saying, I feel, my body is affected by the modes of nature. And Srila Prabhupada said, my body is affected. We're experiencing desires. And just like Prabhupada said, no, you are not experiencing. Your body is experiencing. So you're feeling hot due to this body. You're not feeling hot. You're not feeling hot. No, not you, the body. So devotee said, I think I'm feeling hot. So then Prabhupada said, you think. That's illusion. So I should rise above that, is what he said. Prabhupada said, yes, but not artificially. But this is the fact. You have to gradually rise to that platform. Just like when you have a fever, you're actually a healthy person, but the fever came. So you should not think, oh, I'm feverish. I'm feverish. The feverish, it will not stay. It will come, it will go. You'll become healthy. So don't be disturbed with the feverish condition. Go on with your duty and don't misidentify, oh, I became feverish. I have become feverish. Everything finished. No, that's external. It has come, it will go. Gita says, Matta sparshasta konteya sukha dukkadaha shitoshna sukha dukkadaha. It's like summer and winter. Now summer has come and it will go. Winter will come. You do have winter here, yes, but it doesn't snow, right?
Sure. Yeah.
No, okay, that's good. Yeah, we have a winter in Vrindavan. It's okay as long as the sun shines, but if it gets cloudy, then we get cold. Anyway, so yes, it's coming and going, but you have to tolerate. That's what Krishna, first instruction in Gita. It's come, it will go. It will come and go. So we have to tolerate. So yes, everything will be clear if you tolerate. And he says, go on reading Gita, and then you'll understand. And Prabhupada, one time Prabhupada was very sick with fever and dysentery, tossing and turning for 3 days and nights. So after that, a devotee was curious. His servant said, Srila Prabhupada, does a pure devotee suffer? And Srila Prabhupada said, it was a lover's bite. So that was his experience. Krishna was biting him. Okay, Krishna, yeah, you're my lover, and it's okay, it'll come, it'll go. So therefore, we need to read these verses, and we will understand better how to counteract the threefold miseries. Now we're hearing about this in the 4th canto. In the 7th canto, Narada Muni will give us a formula how to counteract the threefold miseries. 7th canto, chapter 15, verse 24. So there is 3 types of disturbances: Ādhibhautika, Ādhidaivika, Ādhyātmika. So how do you counteract Ādhibhautika, sufferings due to other living entities? By good behavior and freedom from envy. Don't envy anyone and treat everyone properly. Now the second one is Ādhidaivika. That is due to the weather, the demigods, floods, earthquakes, all these things. I think you do get floods here in Brisbane sometimes. Yeah, Murwillumbah also, the whole restaurant, the Govindas, was flooded. So anyway, so Ādhidaivika, you can counteract by meditation in trance. So we have our meditation, chanting Hare Krishna. And how about Ādhyātmika, body and the mind? Body and mind. Will the psychiatrist help? No, the medicine may give you reactions. You may become worse. So how do you counteract this body and mind miseries? Bhagavatam says practicing hatha yoga, pranayama, and so forth. Isn't that interesting? Mm-hmm. Gita, I'll tell you later, the Gita also confirms in the 6th chapter about yoga, Jnana Yoga. So we will now go into these 3 in detail. Ādhidaivika, meditation in trance. That's Ādhidaivika means demigods who are controlling the rain, the sun, heat, cold, and all these things. Drought. Meditation in trance. So our meditation, of course, is to chant Hare Krishna and serve Krishna. There was one devotee who was the temple president of Stockholm. He just left his body this year. His name was Tapas. And he did fulfill his name. He was a very austere person, Tapas. And so before he came from Norway, which is very cold, very high up. And in wintertime in Norway, there's a big wind and rain and snow. And he would be out shopping in that, and he would feel so cold and terrible. It was a real misery of the Ādhidaivika. And but after he became a devotee, they sent him up there to sell books, and he didn't feel it. He said, I was just meditating on Prabhupada and his books and selling books, and people were telling him, why are you out in such a weather? How can you? And they would buy the books, And he said all they had to eat was potatoes. But anyway, he's austere. I don't know about the rest who were with him. Yes, he was. So yes, meditation. He was meditating on Prabhupada and Prabhupada's books. And he was happy when somebody would take a book, and he was not affected by the weather as he was before he became a devotee. So just see. Now I'll tell you one story that happened in 2013 in India. And it was in the summertime when people go up to the Himalayas for darshan and pilgrimage, and there's four towns. There's Kedarnath, Badrinath, and Gangotri and Yamunotri. Those are the four places. My ex-husband and I went up to Gangotri with my son on a motorbike.
Oh.
And my son was on the gas. He was 8 years old. And yeah, it was quite interesting. I did suffer. I lost my hearing in one ear, and I suffered from whatever they call it, when you go up high.
Altitude sickness.
Altitude sickness. And I was on the motorbike, I had fever. I was just holding on, hoping I would be okay. But yeah, that was very austere too. And then, but what happened in 2013, there was an avalanche at Kedarnath. And many people were stranded up there. And there's a temple of Lord Shiva, Kedarnath. And a rock fell behind the temple to protect it. And on both sides, the avalanche came, and rain and mud, and all the guest houses were done, the restaurants, and the road was finished. So I was watching it on Facebook, of course. And so they were sending helicopters up to evacuate everyone, maybe 1,000 people up there. And so then what happened was there was one yogi, and he was meditating in trance on Lord Shiva. He didn't notice the avalanche at all. He didn't notice. He was just meditating in trance. And so the government said, okay, Babaji, time for you to go in the helicopter. And the Babaji said, no, I don't need a helicopter. I will walk. So there was no road. I don't know. Maybe he had mystic walking powers. But anyway, there was meditation and trance. And also our devotees, they meditate. They go out in cold weather, hot weather, and they distribute books, Prabhupada's books. It's still the marathon. All the marathon's finished. No, maybe. Yeah, or maybe still devotees. So yeah, you can forget. I remember one time I was out on book distribution in India, and we were the first devotees, women's party, first devotees that this village had seen. And so we were the whole day, 1,000 giras we did. And villagers were coming with their pennies and buying the books. They were very cheap, like only 12 rupees, which is, I don't know what, in dollars. 50 rupees, I think, to a dollar Australian, or 55.
Australian.
Yeah, like that. So 12 rupees it's maybe 30 cents. I don't know. But we were selling them very cheaply. Some people would take 5, some people would take 6. So morning till night, we were just selling books. I don't think we ate lunch. And then as soon as we stopped, I was feeling pain all over my body. Oh, I didn't notice while I was distributing the book. As soon as I stopped, oh no, my body's finished. Yeah. When you're really in the service and you forget. So then now the second misery is Ādhibhautika. That's due to other living entities. By good behavior and freedom from envy, you can counteract this one. And so Bhagavatam says through charitable gifts and attention. So this is for those who are junior to you. Well, actually, charitable gifts. Charitable would be for those junior. Attention would be for those who are senior to you. Through friendly behavior, those are your equals. And by viewing all to be alike. So that would be all living entities. I've seen in India, they feed the ants. They put flour on the road for the ants to eat. Mm-hmm. Where was that? Oh, I was at Govardhan. And there was one big hole in front of me. And they were putting flour down the hole. It was an ant hole. Anyway, big hole, like my hands. And we were burning incense, and someone said, no, don't put it down there. There's ants there, maybe. Am I burning incense? So they're so conscious of all living entities in India. Some places, they even give sugar to the ants. And they can intoxicate. I know. Actually, but they're very compassionate. Even my son Govinda and his friend Sudama, when they were in the Gurukul, when they were 10 years old in Vrindavan, they saw one big ant who had a huge piece of food on its back. And the ant was just going around in circles and it couldn't go straight. And so they said, let's help that ant. They took the burden away, threw it, and the ant walked straight. And so we might have that same problem going around in circles to carry the burden of material life. Work hard. Yeah. And then you get your money and then you can enjoy. So, yeah. And so how do we counteract these miseries? Well, as devotees, when we landed in Bombay, I might have told the story of what kind of culture shock I got the first day. We were having prasadam in one hut, which was the men's ashram, the everything, office, prasadam room, kitchen, everything in one hut, in one room, only one room, not a studio apartment. And prasadam time, sitting in my seat on the ground, looking up at the roof at the huge rats running across the rafters. And I was thinking, hope he doesn't fall on my plate. He didn't. He fell in someone else's plate. And whose plate he fell in was the night guard who was guarding the deities who were in a tent. There was no door. But he was asleep, and somebody came and took the flute and the crowns overnight. When we first came, that was our first. We went to Mangalarti. There was no flute or crowns on the deities. It fell in his plate. And so anyway, yeah, adventures in India. So, yeah, it was a good behavior. And you see there's juniors, equals, seniors. So you try to serve the seniors and learn from them. Be friends with your equals and also bring up the juniors so they're happy. And material world is the opposite. And I could give an example that there was, Prabhupada went to Japan to print his first Krishna books. And so he met one junior executive. And he asked the junior executive, what is your goal in life? So the executive brought out a big stack of calling cards with names on them. His was on the bottom. He took it out and put it on the top. That's my goal in life. Yes, but of course, if you put yours on all these others, then if they're gonna have to go down. It looks like. So you want to bring the seniors down, and the juniors too, so they don't take your place. So yeah, we were, and so Juhu, it was so austere. That was one thing. The Sodom, nighttime, and we would have to drink milk and listen to Krishna book, and there were no lights. There's like a light bulb outside. We were drinking our milk outside, and I remember taking out all the bugs from my milk, maybe 20 of them. While I was drinking. It was kind of austere. Anyway, early days in India. So we were living very austerely. Ladies' ashram was on the roof. We didn't have a roof over our heads. We had the stars, which were okay. But then, it was hot. It was like summer. Fortunately, I left before monsoon. I don't know what happened after that. To those ladies up there. Vishaka was up there. Saradia, my Tili, our god sisters. One was, Vishaka was writing back to Godhead articles. Saradia was painting a picture, Krishna. My Tili was freaking out because she had claustrophobia in her mosquito net. So anyway, that was the early days. So Prabhupada was friends with a doctor. He would go out morning walks with Dr. Patel on Juhu Beach. And this doctor, he would quote Gita, but in a personal way. He really wanted liberation, he wanted moksha. So Prabhupada would always defeat him in his Gita conversation. But he felt compassion for us. And he went begging, although he was a doctor. He got mattresses, blankets, pillows, mosquito nets for all of us. And after 2 years, they all disappeared because we didn't have doors. They were just out in the open. Anybody could just take them. So he complained to Prabhupada, hey, these devotees don't care if they have to sleep on the floor. They don't care if they get disease or don't have proper facilities. Well, that's what Prabhupada said. Actually, he complained. And Prabhupada said, these devotees don't care if they have to sleep on the floor. They don't care if they get disease or don't have proper facilities. That liberation you so much desire, they already have. We were liberated, although we didn't feel liberated. But yeah, sleeping, we were young. It was adventure. So anyway, it was okay for us. So yeah, good, friendly behavior. So the third misery, Ādhyātmika. Srila Prabhupada says we should do Hatha Yoga and Pranayama. Now, Prabhupada's definition of Pranayama, he says, as far as Pranayama is concerned, chanting of the holy name of the Lord and dancing in ecstasy are also considered pranayama. We're all doing pranayama. When we chant and dance, we're doing pranayama, Hatha Yoga. And it's confirmed in Gita. This is, let's see, chapter 6, verse 17. If I can find it, let's see. No, that's, yeah, well, this is the chapter in Gita about yoga. We're coming to that verse. Verse 17. Yukta hari harasya yukchestasya karmasya yuksapna bodhasya yoga bhakti dukkaha. He who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pains practicing yoga system. So we have pains in our body and mind, and if you want to counteract it, you have to have regulation in eating, sleeping, working, and recreation. Guess what? You can have recreation. One devotee asked Prabhupada, what is the recreation of a yogi? Well, yogi's in his asana day and night. So when he goes for a walk, that's recreation. And Prabhupada did that. He went for a morning walk. That's the recreation of a yogi. So, yeah. Now, pranayama. Now I'll give some more stories how this works. First of all, His Holiness Indadum Swami was on an airplane in Africa from Nairobi, or going to Nairobi. And so the plane was trying to land, and every time the plane trying to land, it started shaking violently. And Maharaj was going, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And the Christians are going, Jesus. And the Muslims are going, Allah. And the plane went back up. So next to Maharaj, there was one man. And he said, Swamiji, I am a scientist. I do not believe in all this chanting, praying. Plane went back down. Started shaking violently. Went back up. Scientist said to Maharaj, what was that you're saying? Maharaj said, Hare Krishna. No, the whole thing. So the scientists learned how to chant. Pilot made an announcement, okay, we are going to try one more time. And if we don't succeed, we'll go back to where we came from. So the plane went down, started shaking violently. Everyone was chanting. And the scientist was chanting. And the plane landed. So Maharaj turned to the scientist and said, so now, do you believe? Scientist said, maybe. And so Maharaj said, here's my card. In case you have any questions, you can contact me. So that's one story. And another story is, I go to Nepal every year. Unfortunately, this year it was canceled. 300 ladies were joining this retreat in September. Well, unfortunately, the day before, 2 days before my flight, there was a riot. And the devotees still, the day before my flight, they said, no, come. But then they burned up the Parliament House. And then the devotees said, okay, don't come. They weren't taking it so seriously. Because it happens a lot. And I was there during the riots also 1 year. The Chinese were trying to take over the parliament. And so they're coming from China, Mao. But this time it was the Gen Z, it was their own people, the young people, younger generation. Because what happened, the government banned social media. And that was it. The Gen Z are plugged into social media. So they wouldn't take it. So then the day of my flight, of course, the airports there were closed and my flight was canceled. So I did not go. But one year I was there, and the last day of the retreat, they have a kirtan. They start at 7:30 at night. There were 150 Nepali ladies there, singing and dancing. So what happened was 7:30 was prasadam time. But they didn't care. Everybody's happy, singing, dancing. Oh my goodness. But there was one Gujarati lady who was hungry. And she went to them and said, prasadam time, yes. Nobody paid attention to her. So 8:30 came. And she was, prasadam? Nobody paid attention. 9:30 she tried again. Prasadam? Nobody paid attention. So she joined them and started chanting and dancing, and she forgot to eat also. So it happens. If you're really in trance, chanting, that's pranayama, if you're really into it, then you might forget. Just like how the kids, they get into their internet games or movies, and they forget to eat. Unless you tell them. You have to go, hey, time to eat? No, it's okay, I don't need. No. It's happening today, but the other way. Okay, so Hare Krishna, I think it's not good to criticize the internet. It cut us off. Yeah, don't do that again. I won't do that. Now I know. So I was referring back to Bhagavad Gita, verse 17. It was talking about regulation. So it's very important for a devotee to be regulated. And eating, sleeping, work, and recreation. And that's why when devotees ask me, what do? I say, I go swimming. But it's also it helps me. And like when I went to the ocean, my sciatica went away when I bathed in the ocean. So it's like my health clinic, so I don't have to go to doctors. But so yeah, we have to be regulated. Now there's one word in English that describes the mode of goodness, which is regulated, and Ayurvedic medicine. There's one word that describes both. If you can think of it. What is that one word in English? And that word is balance. Mode of goodness. The modes are balanced. You might have a little ignorance and passion, but you're in control of it in the mode of goodness. You can use it for different uses. And then in Ayurvedic medicine, there's 3 dosas, Vata, Kapha, and Pitta. And when they're balanced, then you're healthy. So the whole Ayurvedic medicine is to balance the dosas. So yes, we want to be regulated. And then we can counteract the miseries of the body and mind. Yes, mind also, body also. That will help. And so yes, now what is the attitude of the devotee? There's a verse in 10th canto 10:8-14. Tena kampam samikshamana. Devotee hopes against hope that he will go back to Godhead, that by doing devotional service, he will graduate, he will go. Unjana Ādhyātmika kitam vipakam. At the same time, he tolerates the threefold miseries. He tolerates hope against hope, and faith and tolerance, and then seva. He serves with body, mind, and words. So those 3 things. Now, what happens if you have faith, you tolerate, and serve? Then jiveta yomukti pade sadaya bhak. You will be eligible for going back to Godhead. Yes, back to Godhead, back to home. So yes, if we just have to hope, have faith, tolerate, and we have to serve. Then we're eligible to go back to Godhead. So there was one another devotee, a godbrother of mine, who asked about being above the modes. He says, I'm confused because throughout your books, your lecture, you say, when you become a devotee, you're on the transcendental platform. Yes. But at the same time, you talk about being affected by the modes of nature. Although I'm a devotee, practicing the principles, devotional service, experiencing a certain amount of transcendental pleasure, at the same time, I feel affected by the modes of material nature. How is it I can be on the transcendental platform and still be affected by the modes of material nature? Prabhupada said, it's just like being on a boat. So in Australia, I think a lot of you might have been on boats because it's it's an island. And yes. So when you're on the boat, no one can say you're not in the boat. So you're on the boat, but sometimes big waves will come and rock that boat. So your position on the boat may not be steady. Those waves are the modes of material nature. And so, yes, you're on the transcendental platform, but the modes may not be down sometimes. So your position is not steady. How to become steady? You have to learn from the captain of the boat, spiritual master, Śrīla Prabhupāda, how to steer the boat. If you learn expertly, your position will be steady even in the greatest storm. So learn from the spiritual master how to steer the boat of transcendence through the ocean of material life, and you'll become steady even in the greatest storm of the modes of material nature. Yeah, it's getting stormy out there now. Actually, the world, if you read the news, it's very stormy. So I'm going to end. I'm going to conclude with a prayer from His Holiness Sachinandan Swami. How to pray when you're in trouble. I cannot solve this alone. It is beyond my capabilities, intelligence, plans, ideas. So the doors are closed. You don't see the open door. So I sincerely request you to accept me as your surrendered soul and protect and maintain me. So then Maharaj explains, protect me means keep me in a situation where I can function and the problems of material existence don't upset my life that much. That's Maharaj's prayer. And maintain me means maintain me on the spiritual platform. And if you do this, your mountain of misery will go down and down. And maybe even vanish into the hoofprint of a calf. And you can walk over it. Yeah. So yes. So this is how to counteract the threefold miseries as devotees. And yeah. So you can write it. This is how to counteract the threefold miseries. So I'll stop here. Any questions or comments you can ask this time.
Hare Krishna Mataji, very nice class. I've been Kadambari Radha here. I was just writing the verses which you have mentioned, so that I can go back on them and try to understand more. I was just thinking that in the verse you mentioned from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 7:15-24.
Yeah.
And in the purport, Śrīla Prabhupāda, the last, I think, couple of lines from that purport, Prabhupada has written, one can avoid sufferings from the body and mind by practicing mystic Hatha Yoga. That mystic Hatha Yoga, does it mean chanting and dancing?
Yes. But if you really want to find out more technical things, all of it in 11th canto, 5th chapter, describes how you can get each of the 8 mystic powers, major mystic powers, and the 10 minor powers, and 5 extra ones too. So it goes step by step how you can get each one of those. So if you're interested, you can get, but there's no need. I mean, you can find out. All of them require meditation on the Lord. All of them require meditation, and then you have to do other austerities and things. But mainly it's the meditation. So Bhagavatam explains it in detail, but you don't have to do that, because if you go to first canto, you can read first canto, I believe. First canto, yeah. First canto is Narada Muni talks to his spiritual master. Don't have first canto.
Might be in your room.
No, not my room. Okay, all right. Let's. Okay. Is okay. Well, can you get it or? Okay. So we're waiting for it. But there is a verse at the end of either, I believe it's chapter 5, 1-5. At the end of chapter 5, Narada Muni is explaining his life story to Vyasadeva. How he was a child, and then, but he was trained up by the Bhakti Vedantas to meditate on the Lord. If she doesn't have it, we can look it up on the phone. Oh, you got it. Okay.
It's chapter 5, canto 1.
No, canto 1, chapter 5 book is coming. And
Narada instructions on Śrīmad Bhāgavatam.
Verse 39, but I might be. So I'm looking. It's like the end of either chapter 5 or chapter 6. So I'm looking. Chapter 5. Is this chapter 5? Okay. Yes, I got it. It's 1:5:39. So
thank you, Mataji. Yeah.
O Brahmana, thus by the Supreme Lord Krishna. So this is the time of death of Narada in his previous life as a Shudra. And he was chanting. He was chanting Hare Krishna, Radhika Raman also. So now listen to this. He got three realizations, one after the other. First, I was endowed with transcendental knowledge of the Lord as inculcated in the confidential parts of the Vedas. So first he got knowledge, Sambandha Gyan. Then with spiritual opulences, that's the mystic yoga. He got mystic powers. He flies everywhere. You know, he doesn't need an air spaceship. He doesn't need that. So he got knowledge. Then he got mystic powers. But the last one, the highest one, intimate loving service. He got bhakti. So he got prema. Bhava. He got bhava. Let's see what it says in the purport. Aishrayam bhava. It says bhava. See? He got bhava. That's the highest, not mystic powers. So he got them. But higher than that was bhava. He got bhava. So you don't have to worry. It comes automatically. It happened to Narada at the time of death. And yes, first knowledge. So let's see what the says in Sanskrit. Avidya. Okay. And then, Jnanam. Here it is, Jnanam. Transcendental knowledge. Aishrayam. Jnanam, Aishrayam, and bhava. Bhava. So first you got knowledge, then you got mystic power. This is spiritual opulences, and then he got bhava. So you don't have to worry, but if you're curious, you can read 11th canto, chapter 15. But it's all about meditation on the Lord in different ways. How he's bigger than the biggest, smaller than the smallest. And then you get the power to be bigger than the biggest, like Dhruva Maharaj got it. And he was just chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. He didn't. Yeah, he was just chanting, and he got it. Narada Muni was chanting, and he got it. And so we just need to chant. And we can also get mystic powers if you want. But devotees don't really want it. I think it's later on. I think Sutta talks about it later on, maybe chapter 18. First, we'll talk about mystic powers. There's a verse. Let me see if I can find it. That one I knew. Mystic. Oh, I just looked at yoga. yoga. Why is that the end, isn't it? Yoga. Or still in the S's. A lot of S's. Let's go this way. VWXY has to be at the end. Yudhisthira.
Very nice.
It's yoga, okay. Yoga, bogus, breathing, defined, dependent on serving the Lord. There you go. Okay, let's try that one, 331. Yeah, yoga here it says it's dependent. I don't think this is it. I'm looking for it. 331. No. Okay, let's see. Oh, here it is. The whole idea is without devotional service of the Lord, neither yoga system nor dry philosophical speculation can ever become successful. Yeah, anyway, imperfect. Maybe that sounds more like it. It's in first canto. All right, it's in first. No, it's in second canto. There we go. 105. That's imperfect. There is a verse actually where it says that, the yogis, they're not happy. They're frustrated. But only devotees have what the yogis don't have. So that's Krishna consciousness. Yoga, yogi, bogi. Mystic power. Oh, anyway. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's better to be a devotee. Oh, wait a minute. Here was 131. Okay. Oh, no, that's in second canto. Okay. Oh, 1000 page. Deviation from. Anyway, as compared. All right. You can read first canto and you'll find it. Again, I think it's in first canto. Oh, this is all. How could that be second canto? It's not second canto, it's second chapter. Okay, let's go back again. 105. 105. It's canto 1, chapter 2. Canto. Anyway, that's okay. Time's almost up. Any other question? Sorry.
Yeah, I couldn't get the verse. What is canto 1 and chapter?
1:539.
1:539. Thank you, Mother.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, that's what happens to a devotee. You chant, and first you get knowledge, then you get mystic powers, and then you get seva. Seva is the highest. So if you do seva now, it's very good. It's very good. Okay, I think we're done. All glories to Prabhupada. Jai, Śrīla Prabhupada.
Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Jai.